Tensions explode in the West Philippine Sea. Chinese Coast Guard vessels use water cannons against a Philippine resupply boat near Ayungin Shoal. The May 4 struggles to reach the BRP Sierra Madre, a symbol of Philippine sovereignty. Towering Chinese ships block its path. Horns, blaring. Turn back. Water cannons erupt, tossing the vessel in the churning sea. Sirens scream. Drenched but determined, the crew presses on, making a stand. The line in the sand has been drawn. This confrontation is the result of a long, calculated strategy by Beijing, what some call salami slicing. China takes control of the South China Sea piece by piece, first fishing fleets, then Coast Guard, then Navy. Each move is small, avoiding major incidents, but together they create a new reality, one where China dominates. The most visible sign: artificial islands, built atop submerged reefs, now bristling with runways, ports, and missile systems. These islands, like Mischief Reef, act as unsinkable aircraft carriers, projecting Chinese power deep into Philippine waters. The 9-dash line, China's sweeping, legally baseless claim, overlaps with the exclusive economic zones of its neighbors. International law and tribunals have rejected this claim, but China enforces it with a massive fleet. The goal: de facto sovereignty over the sea, its resources, and the flow of global trade. Protests and diplomatic complaints have done little to stop the physical changes on the water. The salami slicing continues, slice by slice. Filipino fishermen and authorities are pushed out of their traditional waters. The shadow of the dragon grows longer, challenging decades of regional stability. The incident at Ayungin Shoal is not isolated, it's the next step in a relentless campaign. China's strategy is working, reshaping the region's balance of power. The world is only now waking up to the consequences. The stakes are rising. The question: who will stop the next slice? In 2013, the Philippines fought back, not with ships, but with the law. It took China to the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague, challenging the 9-dash line under UNCLOS. In 2016, the court delivered a sweeping victory for the Philippines. China's claim had no legal basis, and its actions violated Philippine rights. The ruling was celebrated worldwide, a triumph for international law. But China dismissed the decision, calling it null and void. Instead of backing down, Beijing accelerated island building and increased patrols, defying the court and the world. The legal victory did not change the reality at sea. The Philippines had the law, but China had the power. International support was mostly verbal. No one forced China to comply. For a time, Manila even set aside the ruling, hoping for better economic ties, a move that divided the nation. Many Filipinos felt their hard-won victory was squandered. The paper victory remained just that, on paper. Meanwhile, the situation at sea grew more dangerous. The Hague ruling stands as a symbol. The rules exist, but enforcement is another matter. The standoffs today are the direct result of this unresolved paradox. The world is left to wonder: what is the value of law without power to back it up? For coastal Filipinos, this conflict is not about geopolitics, it's about survival. Generations of fishermen from Zambales and Palawan once relied on rich fishing grounds like Scarborough Shoal. Now, Chinese ships block access, turning these waters into no-go zones. Catches have plummeted by up to 70%. Many have sold their boats and abandoned their way of life. The humiliation and fear are real. Chased, harassed, and treated like criminals in their own waters. This is more than economic loss. It's an assault on identity and dignity. To be a fisherman is to be Filipino. To lose the sea is to lose a part of the soul. The constant intimidation takes a psychological toll, creating fear and helplessness in coastal communities. Yet, these fishermen have become symbols of resilience, small wooden boats facing down steel giants. Their struggle is about national pride and sovereignty. The West Philippine Sea is part of the nation. Its loss is deeply felt. The fishermen are seen as defenders of the country's rights. Their fight is the nation's fight. Every trip to sea is an act of defiance. The world sees their courage and the cost of unchecked aggression. The struggle for the sea is the struggle for the Filipino soul. As tensions peaked, a new force appeared: the U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet. The USS Ronald Reagan, a nuclear-powered supercarrier, led a carrier strike group into the South China Sea. Their arrival sent a clear message: the Philippines is not alone. For Filipino sailors and Marines, it was a morale boost and a reminder of the U.S.-Philippine alliance. The 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty means both nations support each other if attacked. The Seventh Fleet's presence changes the balance of power, forcing China to reconsider its actions. Joint patrols and exercises between U.S. and Philippine navies have increased, building a united front. The world's attention has shifted. The dispute is now a global issue. International media coverage intensifies and diplomats speak out more forcefully. The South China Sea is now a key arena in the U.S.-China rivalry. The arrival of American warships hasn't solved the problem, but it's changed the game. The Philippines now has a powerful backer. China faces higher risks. The line at Ayungin Shoal has a guardian. The stakes are higher than ever. The world is watching. The next move could determine the region's future. The Seventh Fleet's presence is a warning. Aggression will not go unanswered. The balance of power has shifted. The Philippines stand stronger, but the danger remains. The crisis is far from over. The U.S. strategy in the South China Sea relies on two pillars: freedom of navigation and strong alliances. U.S. Navy ships and aircraft regularly challenge China's claims, upholding international law and the rules-based order. The U.S. has ironclad alliances with countries like the Philippines, Japan, and South Korea. Through joint exercises and patrols, the U.S. aims to deter conflict and keep the peace. The South China Sea is a test of resolve. The world is watching. Why does a dispute over distant reefs matter to the world? The answer: global trade. 1/3 of all maritime shipping, over $3 trillion, passes through the South China Sea each year. Everything from smartphones to fuel travels these waters. If a single nation controls or disrupts this artery, the shockwaves would be global. Control means leverage over the world economy, disrupting supply chains, raising costs, and threatening stability. That's why freedom of navigation is vital. It keeps the superhighway open for all. China's artificial islands sit astride these shipping lanes, with the potential to monitor or even block commercial traffic. The region is also a crossroads of strategic interests. A conflict here could draw in world powers and destabilize Southeast Asia. The security of Taiwan is linked to the South China Sea's dynamics. China's actions challenge the international order itself, pitting law against might. If powerful nations ignore the rules, global stability is at risk. What happens here is not just regional, it's a defining moment for the world. The stakes could not be higher. The Philippines is not alone. As China grows more aggressive, a coalition is forming. It's not a formal alliance, but a network of nations united by a commitment to international law and a free Indo-Pacific. The US is a key player, but countries across Asia and beyond are stepping up. Vietnam, Malaysia, and Indonesia are pushing back against Chinese incursions. ASEAN's collective voice is calling for adherence to UNCLOS. Australia and Japan have increased patrols and support for the Philippines. Even European nations, UK, France, Germany, send warships to assert freedom of navigation. This web of partnerships isolates Beijing and strengthens Manila's position. The coalition is built on shared values: rules, peaceful resolution, and freedom of the seas. The standoffs are now a global issue, not just a bilateral dispute. The world is sending a message: aggression will not go unchallenged. The Philippines has new allies and new leverage. The balance of power is shifting. Amid the power plays, the true strength is the will of the Filipino people. Isang bansa, isang diwa. One country, one spirit, defines their unity and resilience. From government leaders to fishermen, there's a growing determination to defend sovereignty. Chinese aggression has only strengthened Filipino resolve. The Coast Guard and Navy, outgunned but undaunted, continue their missions and document harassment for the world to see. Their courage has earned global respect. Ordinary citizens rally behind them. Atinito trends, and public pressure grows. This unity gives leaders the mandate to stand firm. The defense of the West Philippine Sea is the will of the people. The risks are real, but so is the resolve. The spirit that fought for freedom in the past now defends the nation's waters. The world is watching, but the outcome will be shaped by Filipino courage. They will not give up.